We're creating these sounds so that through these sounds we can enter into the depth of our inner silence. Because in that silence the magic happens. In that silence some door of your heart opens up. All we are seeking in this life is the same silence that we experienced when we were in the womb. Why do we chant or do these kirtans together? Though there are many reasons, but two key reasons I want to talk about. The first, I was sitting at the back, and the first time when you all started chanting Om together, at the back it was coming as one sound, not many sounds of many individuals. You were all becoming one in that collective sound of Om. So number one, we chant so that we can remember the eternal truth about our oneness, about our unity. Because when we chant together, nobody has to come and tell us that we are all one. We experience it. Through the sound, we experience it. Through the collective space, we experience this. We don't have to believe that. It becomes our living experience. It stays in our heart forever. That's the reason we chant together, or we do these kirtans. And number two, the second reason. The purpose of every sound is to take us to the silence within. When we create this sound of the collective kirtans, our hearts open. Sometimes we stand up and dance, we express ourselves. But there is a danger. Those very kirtans could become the source of entertainment for us. And we could be deviated from the original purpose why we are creating these sounds. We're not creating these sounds as part of entertainment. We're creating these sounds so that through these sounds we can enter into the depth of our inner silence. Because in that silence the magic happens. In that silence some door of your heart opens up. All we are seeking in this life is the same silence that we experienced when we were in the womb. We're all seeking that peace, that love, that bliss of the womb, the silence of the womb. That's the reason we move away from the cities and come to these mountains, to experience that silence. That's our inner core. We want to reach our inner core. So next time, whenever these sounds are created, you rejoice in that sound, you dance in that sound, you express yourself fully in that sound of kirtan. But then remember the very purpose of creating those sounds is to enter into the depth of this silence. I'm madly in love with Shiva. You know why? Of all the principles of life, Shiva teaches us one very key principle of life. On that principle, this life is holding itself together. Do you know what that principle is? I've learned the principle of coherence from Shiva. Coherence. If you've heard the story, when Shiva was getting married to Adi Shakti, as in India you see, the whole big large procession goes for the marriage. So Shiva, with his entire entourage, moving towards the house of Adi Shakti for the marriage. And in this journey, all his friends were with him. And you know who were all the friends of Shiva? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever observed that? Shiva has all kinds of friends. The bright energies we call devas are friends of Shiva. The dark energy which we call asuras, the demonic energies, are friends of Shiva. Beings with body are friends with Shiva. Beings without body are friends with Shiva. Animals, friends with Shiva. Insects, friends with Shiva. Shiva is the principle of coherence in life. He accepts everything. There is no disconnection in Shiva. And that's the principle of life. Do we agree with this fact, first of all? That the principle of life is this coherence? Yes, we agree with that. But I will further prove it. We are all made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. If these 5 elements in your system goes out of coherence, you experience illness. Yes? Your body, your breath, your thoughts, if they go out of coherence, you experience mental disturbance. Everything in this life is about this coherence. Life thrives on this coherence. But we've created a problem here. And we are suffering because of that problem. And that problem is, we've not paid enough attention to nurture this coherence in our life. Today, let me introduce you to a new yoga. I call it Maitri Yoga, the yoga of sacred friendship. We are 8 billion people on this earth right now. If I ask you, how many true, closest friends do you have? Remember, we are still talking about coherence. How many true, honest, deep friendships that you have? I guarantee you, you can't count more than 3 or 4. That's a best case scenario. The real scenario will be 0. And if I ask you, are you your own best friend? Now we've gone from 0 to negative. Remember, I'm still talking about coherence. And then there's a rise in therapies. The less friends you have, the less investment you do in Maitri, the more investment you have to do in therapies. We're all seeking something in life. We all want to connect. Why you're all here this evening? Because you feel this is your community. Yes? Maybe you don't know everybody, but you all vibing together. You feel this is your community. You're all here for the satsangs and the kirtans and the dhyana. You feel you belong to this. We're all looking for this community because we know the eternal principle of life is we will only thrive and grow if we become part of a community. But we made a major mistake. The current society, the modern world, we've disconnected ourselves from everybody around. We've all become individual solo people, alone, eternally alone we've become. Remember where I started? That's why we chant together. We chant together, first principle, because in that chant, we create a collective sound. And inwardly we feel we are no more alone. We are part of this collective ocean of sound. We become one. That's the highest spiritual principle. This aloneness is a mental creation. The truth and the reality is, we're all deeply connected. Part of something which I call oneness. That's the truth. Till the time you establish yourself in this truth, the suffering will not go, no matter how many workshops and therapies you attend. The suffering will not end. New things will get created in the market and you will be attracted towards the new. I have nothing against workshops or therapies. Don't get me wrong. But that will not give you any solution for this life, because eventually you're looking for this oneness. Buddha achieved the bliss because he attained this oneness. Ramakrishna achieved the bliss because he attained this oneness. Ramana Maharshi achieved this bliss because he attained this oneness. Any awakened being, they all achieved this oneness. They were all moving towards this oneness. But what are we doing? We are moving away from this oneness. Are you following me? Are we together?
Yeah.
Though we want to experience this oneness because we know the ananda of this oneness, but our actions, our behavior, our thoughts are taking us away from this oneness. We are becoming more alone every day. Yes or no? We go from one place to another, make some connections. 3 months, the connections are over. We move to the new place. Every 3 months, we are trying to dig a new well of love, of friendship, of connection, of oneness. But 3 months are not good enough to dig the well so deep that we get the water. But by the time we are halfway through, we move and new sets of people arrive in our life. We feel happy for the time being. But those new set of people don't give us any solace in life. They give us momentary sense of connectedness. But if you've ever formed or lived a deep relationship or deep friendship, then you know, even if your friend is thousands of miles away, you've not met that friend in 3 years, you know that friend is with you in your heart always. You never feel alone. You can always pick up the phone, talk to that friend. You know that friend is always available for you no matter what. You know that you are always available for that friend with your life no matter what. If you don't become one, even with your deep friends, how will you achieve this cosmic wellness, I'm asking? You're aiming too high. The seeds of cosmic oneness are here on this very earth, in this very community, with these very people. But we don't invest in that because of some fear that if I become good friends with you, you'll ask me something. I will lose something. There's some fear that stops us from investing ourselves, our lives, our energies into forming these deep relationships, not momentary relationships. relationships for life. Do you think this is not spiritual? Do you think only asana is spiritual? Do you think only chanting a mantra is spiritual? What I'm talking to you today is about the practical steps on the ground that will really make you authentically spiritual.